In a quiet village nestled between mountains and rivers, there was a woman named Maya who worked at the local library. She was just an ordinary woman like everyone else, organizing books, helping visitors find stories, watching the sunset through the tall windows. That was her little world. But there was one thing she really struggled with: letting go. No matter how hard she tried, she just couldn't stop thinking about her past. 3 years ago, she lost someone very close to her heart, and since then, every corner of her life reminded her of that loss. Her friends slowly stopped inviting her to gatherings because she always seemed distant, and that made Maya feel even more alone. She slowly started to lose the joy she once had in simple things. One evening, after the library closed, Mrs. Chen, the old meditation teacher who often visited to read, was still sitting quietly near the window. Maya walked up to her slowly, feeling unsure. In a soft voice, she said, "Mrs. Chen, I want to talk to you about something." Mrs. Chen nodded gently and said, "Come, sit beside me." "What is it?" Maya stayed quiet for a moment, her eyes filling with tears, and then said, "I'm trapped, Mrs. Chen. I can't stop living in the past. Every memory pulls me back. Every morning I wake up with this heavy feeling in my chest and I can't move forward. Honestly, I feel like I'm drowning in something I can never escape from. If you could give me some guidance." Mrs. Chen smiled softly, her wrinkled hands resting on Maya's, and said, "You know what, Maya? You're not the only one. So many people carry weights they don't need to carry. But if you truly want to feel light again, you can. I'm going to teach you 5 simple but powerful lessons about letting go that will help you find peace and freedom again. First lesson, accept what you cannot change." Mrs. Chen reached into her bag and pulled out a small pouch of sand. She poured some into Maya's hand and said, "Hold this sand as tightly as you can. Don't let any of it fall." Maya closed her fist hard, squeezing with all her strength, but the sand kept slipping through the gaps between her fingers. The harder she squeezed, the faster it fell. Within moments, most of the sand was gone. Maya looked frustrated and said, "I can't hold it, Mrs. Chen, it just keeps falling." Mrs. Chen nodded and said, "Now, try something different. Open your hand completely and keep it flat and relaxed." Maya opened her palm and Mrs. Chen poured sand into it again. This time, the sand stayed there, resting peacefully in her open hand. "What do you notice now?" Mrs. Chen asked. Maya looked surprised and said, "It's staying, Mrs. Chen. It's not falling anymore." "Exactly," Mrs. Chen said. "Life is like this sand. The more desperately we try to control everything, the people around us, the outcomes we want, the past we cannot change, the more it slips away from us. But when we open our hands and accept what is, when we stop fighting against reality, we find peace. So stop trying to hold on to what's already gone. Accept it and you'll feel lighter." Second lesson, the past is just a memory, not your prison. Mrs. Chen picked up a small handheld mirror from her bag and gave it to Maya. Then she pointed toward the long aisle of bookshelves ahead. "I want you to walk down that aisle," she said, "but keep looking only into this mirror behind you. Don't look forward at all." Maya held the mirror up, staring at the reflection of where she had been, and started walking slowly. Within a few steps, she bumped into a chair. Then she nearly tripped over a stack of books on the floor. She had to stop because she couldn't see where she was going. "How does it feel?" Mrs. Chen asked. Maya let out a frustrated breath and said, "It's impossible, Mrs. Chen. I can't see where I'm going. I keep stumbling." Mrs. Chen took the mirror from her hand and said, "Exactly. The past is like this mirror. It shows you where you've been, but if you keep staring at it while trying to move forward, you will stumble. You will miss the beauty ahead of you. You will hurt yourself over and over." She pointed to the window where the golden evening light was pouring in. "Your past is behind you for a reason, Maya. It's meant for quick glances, to learn from, not to live in. If you keep your eyes locked on what's gone, you'll never see what's coming. So glance at your past when you need to, but keep your focus on today, on this moment, on the road ahead." Third lesson, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. Mrs. Chen reached down and picked up a large heavy stone that had been used as a doorstop. She placed it in Maya's arms and said, "Carry this with you. Hold it tight. Don't put it down." Maya held the stone close to her chest, confused but trusting. "Now let's walk around the library together," Mrs. Chen said. They walked slowly through the aisles, past the reading tables, around the shelves. At first it didn't seem too bad, but after 10 minutes, Maya's arms started to ache. After 20 minutes, her shoulders burned. After half an hour, her whole body felt tired and her hands were trembling. Mrs. Chen finally stopped and looked at her. "How do you feel now, Maya?" Maya's voice was shaking. "It hurts, Mrs. Chen. My arms are so tired. My back aches. I just want to put it down." Mrs. Chen's eyes softened. "Then drop it," she said calmly. Maya let the stone fall to the floor with a heavy thud, and immediately she felt relief wash over her. She rubbed her sore arms and took a deep breath. "Do you see now?" Mrs. Chen asked. Holding on to anger, resentment, and refusing to forgive is exactly like carrying this stone. It doesn't hurt the person who wronged you. They've moved on. They're living their life. But you keep carrying the weight. It crushes your shoulders. It steals your peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're saying what they did was okay. It means you're choosing to put down the stone. You're choosing to stop punishing yourself for someone else's actions. So forgive, Maya, not for them, but to set yourself free. Fourth lesson, release your attachment to how things should be. Mrs. Chen walked over to the small tea corner in the library and picked up 2 cups. One was beautiful, smooth, white porcelain without a single mark. The other was old, cracked along the side, and stained from years of use. She placed both cups on the table in front of Maya. Then she picked up the teapot and poured warm tea into both cups. The tea filled the perfect cup. The tea also filled the cracked cup. "Tell me, Maya," Mrs. Chen said, "which cup holds the tea?" Maya looked at both and said, "Both of them do, Mrs. Chen." "Exactly," Mrs. Chen replied, lifting the cracked cup and taking a sip. "Life will never be perfect. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Dreams will change shape. You will face loss, struggle, and unexpected turns. But look at this cracked cup. It still holds tea. It still serves its purpose. An imperfect life can still hold joy. An imperfect heart can still love. When you keep demanding that everything go according to your plan, that people behave the way you expect, that life unfold exactly as you imagined, you create your own suffering. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Accept the cracks. Accept the imperfections in yourself, in others, in your circumstances. That's where real peace lives. Fifth lesson. Trust that letting go makes space for something better. Mrs. Chen reached into her bag one last time and pulled out a handful of dried, wilted flowers. The petals were brown and crumbling, and they smelled faintly of decay. She placed them in Maya's hands and closed her fingers around them. "Hold these tightly," she said. Maya held the dead flowers, feeling their brittle texture against her palm. "Now tell me, Maya, can you hold anything else while your hand is full?" Maya looked down and shook her head. "No, Mrs. Chen, there's no room." "That's right. Now, open your hand and let them fall." Maya opened her hand, and the dried petals scattered onto the floor. Her palm was empty now, and it felt strange but also lighter. Then Mrs. Chen pulled out a small bundle of fresh jasmine flowers from her bag, bright white and fragrant, and gently placed them in Maya's open hand. The sweet scent filled the air between them. "Do you see now?" Mrs. Chen asked softly. "As long as you hold on to the old, the dead, the things that no longer serve you, old pain, old bitterness, old versions of yourself, you have no space for anything new. Trees let go of their leaves every autumn not because they're dying, but because they trust that spring will come. They make space for new growth. When you let go, you're not losing. You're not giving up. You're making space for new love, new peace, new beginnings, new versions of yourself. So trust the process, Maya. Trust that life knows what it's doing. Release what's gone and watch what arrives." Over the next few weeks, Maya practiced every lesson Mrs. Chen had taught her. At first, it felt impossible. The old thoughts kept creeping back into her mind. She would wake up in the middle of the night with her chest tight, replaying memories she wished she could change. But slowly, something began to shift. She started to notice the weight lifting. Bit by bit, she could sit with her morning tea without that crushing heaviness. She began to understand that holding on so tightly wasn't honoring what she had lost. It was only creating more pain than the loss itself. Her coworkers noticed she smiled more often. She started accepting invitations from friends again. And one day, she realized she had gone an entire afternoon without that familiar ache in her chest. Her breathing felt easier. Her steps felt lighter. Most importantly, she began to feel something she thought was gone forever. Freedom. A quiet, gentle freedom that came from finally putting down what she was never meant to carry. 5 years later, Maya is now a grief counselor helping others through their darkest moments. She volunteers at community centers, sits with people who feel stuck in their pain, and shares the wisdom that once saved her. She often tells them about that evening in the library, about the sand slipping through her fingers, the mirror that kept her stumbling, the stone that crushed her shoulders, the cracked cup that still held tea, and the dead flowers she had to release to make room for something beautiful. She often remembers that the most important lessons of her life came from that day when Mrs. Chen taught her that true strength isn't in holding on tightly, it's in knowing when to let go. And you too, if you're holding on to pain from the past, regrets that haunt you, grudges that steal your peace, or the need to control everything around you, take a step forward like Maya did. Accept what you cannot change. Live fully in the present moment. Forgive to free yourself, not them. Release your expectations of perfection. Trust that life has something better waiting for you. Your willingness to let go will create space for peace, for joy, for new beginnings you can't even imagine yet. Your courage to release the past will become the key that unlocks your freedom. The weight you've been carrying wasn't meant to be carried forever. It's time to put it down. If you feel this story should reach more people, please like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay with us. I'll be back again with another life-changing story. Till then, let go and trust the journey.